how do I handle a mother and mother-in-law who are very critical? If I share anything, they give unsolicited advice. I feel like they watch every move I make and are thinking how I could do it differently. How can I be more resilient? It's like I'm anticipating their criticism anytime I'm with either of them, to the point that I don't want to be around them or talk about anything of substance, because they will have to include something mom-like. I am a mom and an adult. I just want to enjoy being one around them, but they have nothing better to do than to scrutinize my every word and move. My kids and I had dinner with my mom and in-laws the other night, and when we left, they were all still sitting in the living room, and I couldn't help but think of what they would talk about once we left. Well, you can just about bet they're going to talk about you. And your kids, ask the question every single time. Decide, make a strategy. The next time I see them, I am going to call out every single one of their criticisms. I had to do this here at home a couple of times, and it only takes a couple of times. And depending on the person, sometimes they don't even know they're doing it so often. They don't know they're doing it at all. They don't know how it affects you because you haven't said anything. So you can't really fault them for continuing in it if you haven't said anything to them and at least called out the behavior. Later, if they continue after you have highlighted it and alerted them to it, then you can place a boundary, something more than just saying something, because saying something actually is itself a boundary. So for instance, if I were in my own house, especially, because that's your place, you get to do whatever you want. As you said, you're a mom and a woman too, grown. So you get to decide, and you don't have to justify yourself, and you don't have to give a reason why. None of that. You don't have to explain. Simply ask, are you being critical? And ask it every single time they offer you constructive criticism. Are you being critical? Did you mean that critically? That felt critical. Did you mean that? And ask it every single time. Make a strategy. This is what I'm going to do the next time I am around these people. I'm going to say it every single time I hear it. Call it out in that way, gently, not with an attitude, but just real curiosity, something like that, and do it every single time. Another strategy, if you want to up your game a little bit, I might say every single time I hear a criticism, I reject that criticism in the name of Jesus. Put up your hand, say it out loud, and at least alert them to what they're doing and how often. Then, if it draws up a conversation, did you say they confront you for saying something, and you might look for that, and that's an opportunity. It's an opportunity not to fight, but to open up another level of intimacy with these people, if possible. It may not be possible, but if it is, you at least want to give them the opportunity. But you'll need to do it every single time so that they know, first of all, what they're doing, that it bothers you, and that you'd like for them to stop. And then perhaps you can have a conversation about it if they want to bring it up. Well, why are you so sensitive? I'm not sensitive. Or I am sensitive because I'm a grown woman and I don't need unsolicited advice, and I don't want it. Just say what you mean and be prepared for some sort of conflict. But the conflict doesn't have to just remain like a big bomb. Hopefully, it can diffuse and there can be another level of relationship and intimacy with those people that gave you so much anxiety to begin with. And we don't always have to say to someone, this is my boundary. Sometimes just calling it out repeatedly is enough. It's enough to, not that we're trying to do this, but it's enough to almost shame people into understanding how they sound and how they're being. And it sounds almost like your mother and mother-in-law have almost ganged up here in some way. And I'm not sure I'd want to be around them either. So that's something to think about. The other part about sitting in the living room and I couldn't help but think of what they would talk about once we left, you're just going to have to assume they're talking about you and let it roll off. Just let it roll off. It doesn't matter. You don't even really care what they think, do you? Except that they just keep offering all that criticism. That's a spirit of criticism. When someone almost can't stop themselves from being critical, that's a spirit of criticism. It's not just, I was accidentally critical. It's a habit. And when it's a habit, there's usually some sort of a wound, first of all. But as we know, if you have been in the masterclass or in the one-on-ones, hopefully, I mentioned that the demons attach themselves to those wounds. So This seems to be a very difficult situation, but my first path, I would say maybe of offense would be to call it out every single time. Every single time. Just spend one, and you might even plan it. Get together with them, have them over, and just plan it's going to be a miserable visit. And that way you're not surprised. You've already planned and prayed up for it, and you're going to initiate a new way of relating. And so you can strategize like that.